What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Zayn's fourth album, Room Under the Stairs. Zayn Malik back with his first record in 3 years. Of course, Zayn Malik, you know him at this point, the first One Direction member to go solo a long time ago at this point. That was back in 2015. And, in that time, 3 albums from Zayn, very high profile public relationship with Gigi Hadid, Zayn becoming a father. But really, I think the takeaway from the Zayn solo experience thus far has been perhaps like the anti takeaway, like the anti experience of it all, is that Zayn, not someone who wanted to really do any press and play any kind of pop machine games, despite debuting as a pop R&B singer, as a soloist, with Pillow Talk being a massive hit. Zayn was not trying to do a lot of press. He basically never performed live, and he cited, his own personal anxiety as the reason before all this, right? So Zayn hasn't really made a big, I think, public impression, despite the fact that he's been a massively popular artist with a lot of fans. Of course, since then, all the other 1D guys have made their own solo music, and they've all had varying degrees of success. We don't have to talk about them here. But Zayn, with his fourth album, it definitely feels like I don't want to say turning point, but like definitely a new chapter in the Zayn solo career for a few key reasons. But one of them is that he's actually kind of opening up out of his shell and promoting the album and doing live performances around it. He's not going on a full-fledged arena tour yet, although he certainly could if he wanted to. He has enough fans. We'll see if that comes in time. The most interesting thing about Zayn's fourth album, Room Under the Stairs, is that Zayn has made a very noticeable sonic pivot. Zayn has basically made a country album. And I would say this comes across as quite genuine because Zayn has been living in the, quote, country. He recorded this album in Georgia. He made this with Dave Cobb, the Nashville-based producer who's worked with people like Chris Stapleton. Product of how Zayn has receded from the public eye in terms of how he's moved in his personal life. To me, it's actually a really interesting pivot for him because I have never been the biggest fan of the type of pop R&B he had made in the past. I think this type of music, this type of instrumentation of just making a genre change, really serves the Zayn Malik vocals quite well because he does have a striking smoky voice, but a lot of times the production had been very samey and uninteresting to me on the past records. I think with Room Under the Stairs, that's definitely changing. Zayn solo wrote 12 of the 15 songs on this new album, but funny enough, my 2 favorite songs are the ones that he had some help with co-writing wise. I think Something in the Water, the Zayn vocals are very strong, very memorable. I love the distorted vocal line of the water when it drops in, sounds cool. But it's a very sultry chorus, which is something you would expect from Zayn Malik. Then I also quite like the song Stardust, which has a really nice drum tempo, but also still quite acoustic. I'm definitely curious if this is a forward path for Zayn or really just a product of how he has been moving and living and feeling lately. On one hand, people going country or going country pop, it's a bit more of a mainstream pivot for pop stars. We've seen it lately. Think people like Post Malone collabing with Morgan Wallen. Think of the success of someone like Noah Kahan. This is not out of nowhere the same way like making a pop punk pivot was not out of nowhere post Olivia Rodrigo, right? I'm choosing to give him a bit more credit and grace though in the choice because it is coming across as genuine and like, quote, earned as such a thing can be. And I'll just be curious if this continues. But more than anything, I'd be rooting for him to hopefully continue to take this step forward and be more of a public artist, even if he's someone who wants to avoid a lot of press and obviously avoid a lot of tabloid attention that he seemingly can't escape. It is a bit of a shame that someone so popular has never been able to really connect with his fans publicly in such a way by performing. And not that he probably needs the money, but that is the number one way artists earn these days is by going out on tour. So hopefully he can get past that at least a little bit. But yeah, to me, this is my favorite Zayn album. And I'm not sure if that's a hot take to the Zayn fans. Because again, I didn't really connect with the past work. But to me, this is definitely a step forward from him. I think vocally he can still blend together a bit at times, but the vocals are genuinely strong enough that because the production is more interesting this time around, the songs overall are just served better, and it's just a higher quality, higher floor album. So shout out Zayn, it's a step in the right direction. I'll be very curious to see what continues, see how long it goes between this and the next album? Will it be another 3 years? Will it be shorter, longer? We'll see what kind of pop star he maybe becomes. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. But let me know, what did you think of Zayn's fourth album, Room Under the Stairs? Do you like it the most of his work like I do? Either way, let me know why. And for more music reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.